are done with this year, which means it's time to look at the goals I made last year and see which ones of them I achieved and which ones I did not achieve. I want to raise $1,000 for charity this year. So this is an interesting goal because I did set out to achieve this, but in a completely different way. Because the initial idea, which I did not explain super well in that video, is that I wanted to do a charity live stream right around the time where I thought I was going to hit 1,000 subscribers. And the whole live stream would be based around the 1,000. I'd be live for 1,000 minutes while I hit 1,000 subs, and hopefully we raised a minimum of $1,000. That was kind of the running idea that I wanted to do. However, I ended up hitting 1,000 subscribers very early on after I made this video. I hit it in early January. So that idea kind of ran flat, but I still wanted to do a charity event, and that charity idea turned into Raise the Colors, which was a very ambitious goal that Jackson and I thought we could do because we had a ton of time since both of us had been laid off from work at the time. However, it was a severe undertaking that we both had no idea would absolutely demolish us. We still raised around $300 for that charity event, which is fantastic. Any amount raised is a good amount, so thank you all again for that. But it was nowhere near the $1,000 raised for charity that I wanted to do. So I'm not going to call this goal a fail because we still did do a charity event and we still raised money for charity, but it wasn't what I set out to do initially. My next goal would be to do something musical. So for the musical side of things, I didn't post anything about this publicly, but I did start working on technically 2 musical ideas wrapped into one. I don't want to give too much away about it because I want it to be a big surprise. I just want to release it and be like, hey, check this out. And boom, you know, undersell, over deliver is the idea. But it's 2 projects that technically wrap into one, and I started working on them a little bit behind the scenes, getting information about certain venues and recording some stuff and doing a little bit of MIDI for both projects all on my own, but nothing about it is public because I don't want to make anything about it public until it's all done, which is a really bit of a cop-out way of saying I didn't actually fail because I didn't do anything, but I did intend to have one of those projects done and uploaded this year, and that didn't happen. So even though I started working towards the projects, because neither one of them hit the public attention, it's a fail. Next, I'm gonna lose these 25 pounds because I know I can. I just have to engage the discipline and actually do it. So for my goals in 2022, I had simply said that I wanted to be healthier overall, which is a bit of a general statement, but I wanted to just be healthier overall and eat healthier and lose some weight. And in that year, I did start eating healthier, but I didn't really manage how much I was eating, and I ended up going up 5 pounds from 220 to 225. So at the start of this year, I was 225, the heaviest I've ever been. At this point in time, I am currently 219. So I did lose weight. I didn't lose 25 pounds of weight, but I did lose weight. So, half achieved. I want to voice act in something awesome. All right, the voice acting one's very interesting because I technically did achieve this, but I can't prove it because I auditioned for a lot of projects this year, and I did a couple of small little projects that paid a couple like $5, $10 here or there, but I did voice act in 2 relatively bigger projects that I can't prove to you because the first rather big cool thing I think I did is a audio only drama that is a prequel to Zootopia. I can't remember the character that I played, but the episode that I voiced in is not currently out yet, so I can't show it to you. But the reason that I put it as one of the very cool things I did is because I didn't search this project out. The director for this project came across my demo reel on my YouTube account and then contacted me that way. Now you may be thinking that's the whole point of the demo reel, but you don't understand. Most voice acting projects, in fact, every voice acting project that I've ever auditioned for, I've had to go and find the project myself and ask if there is a role I could audition for. This is the first time I've ever had someone contact me asking if I could audition for them. So while the project itself might not be that big, the fact that somebody found my demo reel and messaged me and asked me to audition for their project is pretty significant to me. However, the biggest thing I did this year is I got to voice act for an in-house projections video for Gillette. the razor company. Now, it wasn't an advertisement, so you're not going to hear it anywhere, unfortunately, but it was for an internal statistics video talking about their overall sales in certain markets and new ideas they wanted to put forth, of course, to a giant board of executives and such, but they wanted a voiceover for this presentation, and I got to be in that. But of course, because it's for internal use only at Gillette, I can't show it to you, so you just have to take my word that somewhere in some Gillette office, my voice played for a bunch of executives over top of a bunch of charts with, you know, stonks and such. I want to reach $10 a month from ad revenue. All right, this is probably the most interesting goal to talk about, so bear with me on this. When it comes to making money on YouTube, the most common way you make money is through AdSense. An advertisement will play on your video, and determined by the amount of people who watch the video, you will get paid a 70% amount of that advertisement's revenue. And this is what's called CPM, the amount of money the advertisement will pay YouTube per 1,000 views on that video. However, YouTube then takes their 30% cut, and the video content creator makes the 70% cut. But then after that, there is another metric called RPM, which is the revenue you actually make based off of 1,000 views on that video. Now, the term CPM is what most people think about, but the actual important term when it comes to the content creator is your RPM, because the CPM is how much the advertiser pays YouTube per 1,000 views, but the RPM is how much YouTube pays the content creator per 1,000 views. Are you confused yet? Good, because we're just gonna keep flying along with this, so keep up. Now, like I said in that video, I knew I was going to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, and I knew I was gonna get monetized. However, I didn't know how much money I was going to be making off of my videos, because depending on what type of videos you make, your CPM and your RPM are very, very different. Because if you have two different YouTubers in two completely separate niches, but have the same channel size and the same average views per video and the same length per video, their RPMs and CPMs are going to be vastly different. Because if this content creator is making videos about financial advice and this content creator is making videos about video games, the video game content creator is making way less money than the one giving financial advice. Because the advertisements that play on these videos are very, very different. Thus, how much money the advertiser pays YouTube, the CPM, per 1,000 views is going to be way different. And because of that, the RPM the content creator is going to make per those 1,000 views is also going to be way different. Video game channels do not make as much money as finance channels because the video game advertisers pay very, very little because there's very little return on video game advertisements. Because you have to think about the type of people who see video game advertisements all the time. It's usually younger generation people who don't have enough money to even buy bread, let alone buy brand new video games. So because the return on the advertisement is not as high as per se someone who's looking at financial advice, who usually has a lot of money to burn and they could do a lot more with that money, there's a larger return on financial advertisements than video game advertisements, which is why video game advertisements do not pay YouTube nearly as much as financial advertisements do, because financial advertisements make way more money based off the people that watch them than video game ads do. So now that you had all that in your brain, picture me going into 2023 knowing that I'm going to hit 1,000 subscribers, but I don't do video games and I don't do financial advice. I do things based off of tabletop role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons primarily, with a little bit of Magic the Gathering and even less of Warhammer 40k. I have no idea what CPMs and RPMs I can expect from that type of content. I don't know how much advertisers around the TTRPG space pay per 1,000 views. I haven't got a clue. So when I made that goals video, I wanted to set my expectations rather low because I didn't want to be disappointed that I was only making $2 a month on ad revenue. And without giving away all the details on how much money I earned from YouTube this year, I will say I averaged roughly between $25 to $30 a month. So because of that, I would consider this last goal to be the one I absolutely smashed out of the park. So with that all said and done, what are my goals for next year? Well, I'm going to do that a little differently this year. This corkboard hangs just outside my room, right out there, and I put all kinds of stuff on it from time to time. But this year, I've written a ton, and I mean at least over 20 goals on this corkboard that I hope to achieve with steps to achieving them throughout the year. But here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you any of these and we're going to look at them and reveal what they are at the end of this year. Because who knows? Maybe some of the things you'll see on the channel this year are things that are on my goals, and maybe some of them aren't. But that's the fun of it. In 1 year's time, we'll find out what goals I did achieve and what goals I didn't achieve, and you guys will get to find out what my goals for 2024 even were.